Good morning. Today is the third day of December 2016 and our continuing series of interviews with Aurovilians. Very, very happy to have Turiya with us today. Namaskar, Turiya.
Namaskar.
The first question, of course, that we ask everyone is, how did you first hear of Sri Aurobindo and Mother? And then maybe, how did you hear of Auroville?
So it's through a friend who told me in '84, he advised me to read The Mind of the Cells.
Oh.
So I bought the book, I devoured it, and then I told this friend that it is extraordinary, but if it is true, but I am at so many million miles from it, better forget about it. So I left the book on my shelf and forgot about it for years. Then the same friend advised me to read Sri Aurobindo, or The Adventure of Consciousness. So again, I bought the book, I devoured it, and then I told my friend, wow, if it is true, it's really the only thing which is worth trying. And then it started me. I tried to do, whatever Satprem was advising, meditating all the time, whatever one does, all these kind of things. And I had quite strong experiences. And I got a little bit afraid, so I wanted to meet Satprem. And I was told, no way, you cannot meet Satprem. And I was told, but somebody from the ashram is coming to Geneva. I was in Geneva at that time. And it was Champak Lal. So I tried to meet Champak Lal. It was Claude Brun who was receiving him. But Claude Brun did not allow me to come. And then I learned that Champak Lal was afterwards going to Paris. So I managed somehow to have the address. It was one ashramite, Satopan, something like this, in Paris. And they received Champak Lal. So I told them, listen, I want to speak with Champak Lal. And they told me, well, yes, okay, you can come. We are going afterwards in Touraine with Champak Lal, in a place near one castle where Léonard de Vinci had been living. So I said, yes, I come. And I went to Paris, and I went to Touraine with everyone.
Oh.
And I couldn't meet Champak Lal. So we were living in the same compound, but I couldn't meet him. So one day, perhaps the first day after I arrived, I was walking on the grass, and I saw in one room an old man. I mean, I was a bit younger.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really stunned by his piercing eyes. It was like really piercing eyes. And I thought, this must be Champak Lal. That is him, I'm sure. And then I was told it was him. And it was funny for every one of us, because we could see Champak Lal make, like the children who do like this on the grass.
I see.
Despite,
he was doing that.
Yeah, on the grass, like a child. It was so nice. So this man with these piercing eyes and was playing like a child on the grass. It was, but I still couldn't speak with him. I was not given the opportunity. So eventually we went all back to Paris.
They kept you away from him?
I don't know, somehow I could not.
Somehow.
So eventually, Tapovan. So eventually I told the people at Tapo, I was very angry. I told them, listen, I'm coming to meet Champak Lal from Geneva, and I'm still not meeting him. So eventually I had the possibility to speak to Champak Lal in the evening. They gave it an interview. So I explained to Champakla, listen, I'm having all these kind of experiences, and I've been told that it can be dangerous, and so what to do?
Was he speaking at that time?
No.
No, he was silent then. Huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so he wrote on a piece of paper, if you are sincere, you don't risk anything. So, okay. I went home very happy. I thought, well, I'm very sincere. I didn't doubt about it at that time. And I was relieved, you know. So that is how I met Champagnat. And then I learned in Paris that Auroville existed. And I thought, well, this is probably the place where I must go.
Oh.
That's how.
Where were you living? In Europe? In Paris?
I was in Geneva.
In Geneva. Mm-hmm.
But in fact, I must say that I had come to the ashram in 52. So I'm probably the oldest.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yes. Because my father had come to India before the Second World War. I think once or twice. He was one of these researchers, you know, trying to do yoga. And he went back to France a little before the war. He was asthmatic, so he could not combat. And he was so disgusted by France's abandonment of Czechoslovakia that he wanted to leave France. And he went to Tahiti before the Second World War. So this is how I was born and raised. I was raised in Tahiti from a Tahitian mother. And after I was born, my parents came to Pondicherry, and I was 4.5.
4.5
something
years.
like this. And we stayed
Goodness.
6 months, I think.
But
so I probably saw the mother, and I do not remember anything.
Oh, sure, 4.5.
And so, yeah, but I have some remembrances of India. You know, some flashes here and there, and not the mother.
You know, you are the only person who has mentioned Mind of the Cells.
Ah, yeah?
And of course, Adventure of Consciousness. These, I think, are the 2 books of Satprem that have been the most important for me.
Oh, well, for me too, definitely.
I see.
Yeah.
So when did you decide to come to Auroville?
Well then, as soon as I learned that Auroville existed. So that was in 88.
And that was it?
Yeah.
So what have you been... Well, what was the experience like in the beginning for you in Auroville?
Awful.
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 Yeah. Many people tell us this.
When I went back to Geneva, my friends asked me, so, how was it? So I said, I have never met a place where the people are so hard. So, and I had traveled a lot, you know. I'd been in Tahiti, Switzerland, Cambodia, France, Spain, Italy. No place like as hard as Auroville. So they told me, oh, so you're not going? I said, yes. So they told me, you are masochistic? I said, no. This is it, I have decided to go. However, whether I like it or not, that's it, you know? So that's it.
My God. And what was the first work you took up in Auroville?
Like many people, Matrimandir.
Matrimandir. Can you tell us some of your experiences of life working in the Matrimandir, working on the Matrimandir? Because it's very important for people to know what it was like in those days, because I was there, of course. And
I arrived in 88, at the end of 88. Well, you know, I was working like everyone on the pipes, scraping the pipes, and I have been doing several things. I've been working on the pipes, painting and scraping, and I have been working on the marble also later. So I was choosing, I mean, how do you say? When you have the big pieces here, the big pieces here, how do you say that?
organizing, arranging,
sifting.
sifting.
Yeah, in some bags the big pieces, in some bags the smaller pieces, in some bags the pieces like this form.
Which was being put inside the matrimony.
which were to be used later to put on the matrimony walls. So I've been doing that. I have been also cutting the marble, and I've been working on the columns of the chamber. So I've been doing
Many things.
Yeah,
Many
several things.
Oh. How do you feel, fast forwarding to 2016, about Oroville now and Orovillians and the ideal of human unity?
Difficult question. Well, I have the impression that as far as the newcomers are concerned, because I said it was awful, no, at the beginning. But when I arrived, it was just after the fight with the SAS. So it was still tense, very tense. I have the impression that as far as the newcomers are concerned, they are better received. It's less aggressive. This is my impression, but I'm not a newcomer arriving now,
yes,
so I don't really know.
Certainly, sure.
And otherwise, well, you know, there are many things to criticize in Oroville, but after all, there are also many people who are very active in many fields, in many different fields, and each one brings their own contribution. And like everywhere, there are good and bad aspects.
Did you get to know any of the older ashramites?
I tried. Well, after arriving to Oroville, I found a letter of my father who told me that he had come back to the ashram in 78.
In 78?
Yeah. And I was in Oroville in 88, 90.
Right.
And I thought, oh yeah, he has come here. And he told me in this letter, I have been to visit Marie-Abel. I don't know if you have known her. She was a sculptor, my father's generation. She was a sculptor, she was sculpting. And I thought, oh, Marie-Abel, I'm going to try and see if I can meet her in the ashram. So I came immediately. And I asked whoever I could, Marie-Abel, do you know Marie-Abel? She's an ashramite and a sculptor. So I was told, yes, she lives here. So I went, knock, knock, and I told her that I am so-and-so daughter. And I met a blank look. And I told her, but yes, you must remember, because we have been doing the trip on a boat in 52 with my father and my mother and your adoptive daughter, who was Tahitian also. We did the trip together. Blank look. And she told me, yeah, I remember my adoptive daughter, but not us. So she let me in her flat, a blank, total blank. And she could not remember. She remembered her daughter, and she told me, yes, she has gone back to Tahiti because the ashram was not her thing. And that's it. I was so disappointed. I hoped that she would tell me things about my father, my mother, and how I met the mother. You know, nothing.
Ah,
Okay, so I said bye-bye, thank you. And before I told her, so we are good for the, basket. She told me, yes, I have to sift my memories.
have to?
Sift my memories.
Ah,
Yeah, okay. And then I learned that there was a man, Medananda. I read his book, On the Shores of Infinity. And that is also strange because he told me in the book, he said, I was in Moorea near Tahiti during the Second World War. He was German and he was living in Moorea. And he said in his book, the postman came in tears telling me, I must put you in jail because we are in war and you are German. So he was put in jail as German.
oh.
And my grandfather, his father was also German. So he was also put in jail. And all the German people, I guess, were put first in a fort and after in a, isolated island?
Oh.
Desert island, how do you say?
Deserted island, yes.
Yeah, so I don't know how many Germans there were then in French Polynesia, but they found themselves there. So they met, of course, and they became friends. And after the war, obviously this Medananda met, this is what I think, because he describes in his book, I met a friend after the war who gave me a book about the mother, which started all my experiences with the mother, and which made me come to, and he came to the ashram in 52 too. So when I read that, I thought, oh, the man who gave him the book must have been my father, who had married the daughter of my grandfather. So I wanted to meet Medananda. I was told Medananda has lost his mind.
Has not his mind.
Become senile.
Oh.
So I really had the impression that this was the path. I was being told, this is the path, you must forget about it. Somehow you must not know about that for some reason.
I see.
Yeah, otherwise, no, I didn't know any old Ashramite. Not really. Apart from you.
Can you talk a little bit about your path?
My path?
Yeah, because the past is gone. What is happening in Turiya now?
Now. Well, I must say it's a bit disappointing because when I arrived in Auroville, I had a very ardent aspiration. And I lost it slowly in the course of the years with routine. So I still have it. I still feel the force sometimes, but it's less strong than when I arrived. Mm-hmm. And I know that I'm not doing the efforts I should do.
We all can say that.
Yeah.
We must do more. Yes. Do you read Sri Aurobindo and Mother?
Not much.
Not much.
I read.
You read?
I read a lot for, 10 years or more. Now I have stopped.
Can you tell a little bit about your experiences in the Om choir?
Oh, I love it. I really love it. because as I told you, I don't meditate much now. And for me, it's a kind of meditation, gives me the opportunity. And I feel it is very strong. The aspiration there is strong. The force is strong. And I love it because, also because we are free. You know, I could not sing in a normal choir because first I should know the notes, etc. And I should follow exactly the rhythm, and I should follow exactly this and that. In the home choir, we are free, more or less. We are spontaneous, and I love that.
Good.
I love
Good.
that.
Aurovilians whom you know, can you tell us some of your interactions with perhaps some special Aurovilians? We've had so many here lately: Tim Ray, Hemant, Amy, Orasil, and they've been so varied, but very articulate in their particular fields, whether scientific research or anything. Who are you close to in Oroville?
None of them.
Mm-hmm. None of the ones I mentioned.
No.
Mm-hmm.
More, I don't know if you know, probably not, Ananda and Michiko, Surya, some others. They don't come to the home choir.
Mm-hmm.
So I have been translating. My work was translation.
Oh.
I have translated a few books. Only one of them was published, and recently I worked a lot on the translation of the record of yoga. I worked
really?
on I translated it in French, and as well as the glossaire, the glossary.
Glossary. Mm-hmm. Very complex work.
Yes, there were some parts which were really difficult, but we received. Eventually, I left the work. Someone had started this work, and asked me to help. So I came in. I stepped in, and I worked a lot. But we received a lot of help from Richard Hartz. He was very helpful. He knew the record really well. He has written some very good articles about Savitri and the record. And now I am mainly, for 15 years, through reading a work, Nirod Baran's correspondence.
Yes.
I was shocked to read what Sri Aurobindo said about the vaccinations.
Yes.
He said that he could see something very dark behind this whole Pasteurian affair. And I was shocked. And I thought, well, I must inquire about that. And so since the 1950s, 95, yes, 95, I have been reading a lot of books about that, a lot of articles. And since some years, my main work in Oroville is, sending articles about vaccination, what is happening in the world about that, and nuclear and GMOs, and so this is what I do. Really.
You see, in America, we are seeing, for example, the flu vaccine. They push it and push it.
Yeah, they push everything.
Get vaccinated, vaccinate the children, and then next year there's a new strain.
Yeah.
So
it's really, Sri Aurobindo was perfectly right. It's really, really very, very dark.
I see.
You know what is the percentage of autistic people, children in the United States now? You don't know.
No.
So the CDC's Center, Control Disease Center, The statistics vary, but it is between 1 on 85 and 1 on 29 child who is autistic in the US. And about 2 decades ago, it was 1 on 10,000 or something like this. And a researcher, not on vaccination, but on glyphosate.
On
Glyphosate? Glyphosate? It's a component of Roundup.
Yeah.
It's a researcher from the MIT. She published a paper and she said, according to my estimations, the percentage of the rate of autism in the States in 10 years will be 1 on 2.
1
on 2.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, and there is obviously a link. This is what her estimation is. Huh?
Yeah.
But anyway, even 1 on 29 or 1 on 85 is a lot. An awful lot.
Huge.
And there is an obvious link with the vaccinations. There seems to be a link also with the glyphosate.
Very interesting.
Well, no.
I mean, interesting in a
Very
way
terrible.
because I don't know about vaccinations in the ashram. I'm not sure that they're given here. I've never had one since I read that.
Ah, yeah.
No, I stopped altogether.
Yeah.
And if you believe that the protection is there, it's there. You may break the envelope and let it come in, but you see, Mother speaks about this protective envelope around us. What other books did you translate?
Well, when I was working in the Food and Agriculture Organization in Rome, not when, but after I left, I translated a book, a Jungian essay on women called The Woman and Her Shadow. And after that, I translated a book about João de Deus in Brazil, medium healer. And what else? I translated something else. Well, the record, and yeah.
So now you're still working on things such as the immunization, or no?
Only, not only. I mean, everything that has to do with environment and health.
Food?
Like a nuclear food, pesticides.
Genetic modulation?
Modification.
Modification, yeah. I see. What do you see? What is your experience around the world with genetically modified foods? We hear so much in India, of course, and in America it's corn and soy. It's all GM.
Yeah.
GM.
In the United States, a lot of food is genetically modified. Yeah. A lot of crops.
In India?
In India, it doesn't seem so much yet, but they want to. They are trying hard, very hard.
Monsanto is a big company. Others are big companies also.
Bayer also is.
Bayer bought out Monsanto, huh? Yeah. How do you see your life in Oroville in the coming years and Oroville's progress?
I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a seer, so I have no idea.
Yeah. That's very honest. Very honest. Appreciate that very much. Appreciate that. So, I want to ask you, and you don't have to answer, but do you feel the Mother's presence or Sri Aurobindo's presence at times?
Yeah. But much less than I would if I really did my work.
You are very honest, Turiya. Good. Thank you so much for being with us. And,
Thank you.
I hope you'll allow us to publish this because there's nothing negative at all. Namaskar.
Okay. Namaskar.